What's up, everyone? My name's Butternut Squash Match. Welcome to my AEW Forbidden Door review. It was a fantastic but very predictable show. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to break down each match bit by bit and talk about why I thought each one was what it was and what I think it was. And that wasn't confusing, I swear. Let's squash it. The buy-in actually had something worth talking about, which is nice. You had Micah defeating Sky Blue as the final entrant in the Survival of the Fittest tournament. That's great. Some stardom representation in there, and also just someone who is not. I don't know anything about Micah. It was cool watching her wrestle. She had a good match. But I don't think she has any shot at winning that title. And if she did, I'd be like, what the fuck you doing? But it was cool to see something actually happen on the buy-in rather than just a bunch of predictable matches. Which, was the rest of the buy-in. We had Drilla Maloney versus Daniel Garcia, which Drilla Maloney won. Kind of surprised that Daniel Garcia was wrestling so quickly after the Swerve Strickland thing, but I guess they needed the Death Riders to go 2-2, so slot him in there and gives him a, kind of a protected loss because he's walking in already fucked up from what Swerve did to him, but still, it was just eh. And then you had the Divine Dominion versus Olympia and Thunder Rosa, which was, again, just another predictable match. Just another win for the Divine Dominion. I would really like them to be in, a real feud. The TJ feud was good, but I kind of wanted more from it. I wanted it to build to a street fight or something with some real gravitas, some real weight to it rather than just oh, they got their title match, they lost, that's it. I'd like it to be no, they lobby for something. Maybe don't make it a clean finish and then they get a rematch and now it's a street fight or now it's, a 2 out of 3 falls. Make it something. I would like to see the Divine Dominion in a legitimate feud rather than just these constant, challenges that they aren't going to lose against. We started off the main card with the Young Bucks versus El Sky Team. That's the Sky Team in Spanish, if you didn't know. And Unbound Company with Shingo Takagi and Titan. And El Sky Team is Mystico and Mascara Dorada. This match was just a fantastic way to open the show. It was PWG craziness to the extreme, the Young Bucks specialty, what made them super famous on the indies in America. They were just going crazy. It was so crazy that I'm I can't even think of anything that was that to talk about, just because everything was just so gas to the pedal to the floor. The crowd was super hot for El Sky Team, but ultimately it was the Young Bucks who ended up getting the win. And building to them getting their tag team title shot, I assume at All In, but we still got Redemption in the meantime, so I don't know if we'll get maybe them versus Cope and Cage in a singles match at Redemption, and then maybe a multi-man match at All In. But, a bit predictable. I figured the Young Bucks would win. But still, really, really, really fun match. And then after that, we had Bandito versus Jon Moxley. Fuck, I knew I was wrong. Next up, we had Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. I wish this match was better than it was. I kind of wish this whole feud was better than what it was. I think Zack Sabre Jr. is legitimately one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's obviously the best technical wrestler, in the biz right now, but, maybe of all time. And you have Kenny Omega, the best bout machine, the guy who has so many, high caliber matches under his belt. I was expecting this to be fireworks, and, it was pretty good, but, I don't know, man. It wasn't to the caliber I was expecting it. I've seen them have better matches before, and like, especially like the ending sequence where like the whole thing was supposed to be like Zack Sabre Jr. teasing the arm triangle, and then Kenny was like getting out of it and, you know, power bombing and then into the Kamigoye. But like, I'm just watching it and I'm like, bro, this looks fake. Like, it sucks, but I'm looking at it, I'm like, Zack is not, like, when he has the arm triangle supposed to be locked in, he's not like clinching on it, doesn't look good. There's multiple moments where it just clearly nothing's applied, but Kenny's like trying to do transitional wrestling and like it just didn't look good. And then at the very end it just looked like, fuck it, hit you with a couple moves, one winged angel, I win. And you know, I thought both guys could have been used in a better position. I'm sure this is setting up Kenny Omega to face MJF again for the AEW championship and then probably winning it. But like, I don't know. Especially compared to a lot of the other matches on the card, like, it did not stand out to me. Like, genuinely, I had to actually like check the match listings to remember like to remember that this match happened, because it just like went right over my head. I didn't care too much about it, so it's a shame. I love both the guys, and I'm glad to see Kenny, you know, regaining his confidence as a performer. You know, kayfabe, of course, but like again, the match itself, Next up, we had Jon Moxley versus Bandito for the Continental Championship. Another very predictable match. And to be honest, I kind of think the match played out that way, and I kind of appreciated it for it. It was just a lot of Jon Moxley beating the shit out of Bandito. Like, he had quite a few hope spots, but like, it always just went back to Moxley just beating him up. He ripped up the mask. Bandito bled. He was wearing white gear, so him bleeding all over was fantastic. And just, it was just Moxley just beating him up, man. And Bandito had a good like kick out, had a few good kick outs, but ultimately Moxley got the win. And again, in my head, it was very one-sided. I'm sure if I went back and rewatched it, it would not be as one-sided, but like, I remember just Moxley just beating him up for a majority of the match, and Bandito fighting from underneath. But after the match, Moxley, you know, shook Bandito's hand. They made a point on commentary to say, like, in order to earn Moxley's respect, you gotta bleed with him. And that seems to be like pretty true with his track record as of late, like with Kyle O'Reilly and Ospreay and now Bandito. Like, if you wrestle him and you're willing to put your body on the line and bleed and like get abused, even if he wins in the end or he loses, he'll shake. Well, actually, no, he lost to Kyle and got very upset about it. But, you know, he'll shake your hand and be like, hey, good on ya. So I don't really know where I know where Moxley, I guess I don't know where Moxley goes from here. I feel like long term it's going to be Moxley and Will for that title. But in the immediate future, I don't know. Like, Bandito, I could see, especially if they wanted to like try and elevate Brodito as like a tag team, if they are going to do like a multi-team ladder match at All In, putting Brodito in that match. Because I hear FTR is going to take time off. I'm sure the Bang Bang Gang and the Dogs are going to be feuding going forward. And so if Brodito, like, if they want Brodito to be like a tag team, and they're very over as a tag team, so I think it would be smart. I think it would be smart to like put them in that tag conversation. I also think maybe just doing Brodito versus Cope and Cage at Redemption would also be a pretty good play. Like, Brodito aren't above, you know, taking a loss, especially to like established talents. You know, on one hand you could be like, well, aren't they supposed to be elevated? And I'm like, I don't know, in due time, I guess. Right now, it's very clear that Ospreay's like gonna be the world champion, and then after that, you could go a few different ways. I feel like they'll probably go with Okada, but you could go a couple different ways. You could even go the way where Will doesn't win the title. Kenny's, big bad heel, and then we wait a full other year for Ospreay to, win the title at Wembley. I don't think that would be a smart play, especially considering the ticket sales, but, you could do you, TK. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, I don't have any idea what Moxley does. Like, he could do literally anything. I guess maybe like Moxley versus Swerve could be good for the Continental Championship, and honestly, I would probably have Swerve win that championship if they were going to do that, because Swerve needs kind of like a big win, and it would free up Moxley to move up and face Will for the title. So I think building towards Swerve versus Moxley at All In would be the best case scenario for me personally, because I'm also very worried that like they're gonna do Jericho versus Swerve at All In, because I'm like, oh, what's a big bad heel for Jericho to face on the big bad pay-per-view? Big bad. And I'm like, Swerve is a guy that like, he's clearly not afraid to take losses, and he's, this new heel, character. I'm very worried that they're going to build Jericho up to face Swerve, and I would much prefer it if they just had Swerve do something else. Like, Swerve versus Moxley happened once, I think, in the Continental Classic, and it was a great match. They kissed each other. It was awesome. So, please give me a good Swerve match. Don't give me a bad Swerve match. Pretty please. Next up, we had Pac challenging Shota Umino for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. Another very predictable match. I didn't think Pac was winning that title for a second. And I feel like the only thing interesting about this match was the fact that the crowd was just not fucking with Shota Umino like that. Like, there were a couple other teams that are not like, or a couple other acts that are not super common in AEW that were getting like big pops and big hypes that Shota Umino was not. Like, he was having to work in order to get people to cheer for him. And even then, it was not like big, crazy cheers. You could argue maybe it was like, well, I don't even think you could make the argument that like they were burnt out from the previous match, because the previous match was Moxley just beating the shit out of Bandito. Like, again, there were some great high spots at the end of the match, but like, it's not like the whole match was they were doing crazy shit for the crowd to be burnt out. Like, they just didn't care about Shota, and they knew that Pac wasn't winning the title, so it's like, why commit to cheering for this match as much as possible? I thought Shota looked good in the match, but I just don't know that the story of like, hey, I'm hard and I can withstand like the punishment is like a great story to get people on board with you. I mean, I guess it works for some people, but like, I just didn't really believe it with Shota. He won the match, and then at the very end, he hit the paradigm shift, I think. And afterwards, Moxley came out and kind of like talked at him, and then Tanahashi came out. And I thought it was funny, Moxley had a look of like, this fucking dude? Like, you're choosing this motherfucker over me? I mean, I guess. So yeah, that was that match. But, at least it warmed the crowd up for like a true interpromotional title match. We had Thekla defending her AEW Women's Championship against Starlight Kid. Thekla is the best. I'm so happy they decided to put the title on her. I'm so happy that they signed her. She has been amazing since the jump. and she has been on fire since winning the title. And this feud has legitimately made me want her to like lose the title for the feud. Like, not because I want Thekla to actually lose the title, but because like she's been shitting on Stardom so fucking hard, to the point where I'm like, Stardom needs a win, dude. Like, and you know, they got the win in the pre-show, and I'm sure that's exactly why it was done, so that they can say like, oh, well, Stardom was 1-1 with AEW. But like, dude, Thekla has been shitting a brick down Stardom's throat the long way. And you had the president of Stardom at ringside. There was multiple times in the video package leading up to it where he's just eating shit. Like, she shaved him, she attacked him. You know, he fired her, so that was cool, I guess. But then it was just like Thekla embarrassing that company over and over and over and over again. So I really thought, like, man, if you're gonna do something unpredictable, like, do it with this match. Like, I don't think Thekla's the type of character to lose anything from like dropping the title and then immediately getting it back. And plus, you could also play into like the whole redemption thing by having her get the title back at Redemption and like redeeming herself, blah 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 blah. But like, obviously, it didn't go that way, and it's the much safer option and more sensible option to just have Thekla retain her title against the outer, the non-promotion, non-AEW wrestlers. What I'm trying to say. It's what I'm trying to say, damn it. But yeah, the match itself was fantastic. They really did a great job in making me think Starlight Kid like could win the title. Like, there was a great submission spot where Starlight Kid locked in the stretch muffler and then grabbed an arm, started spinning her around, locked her up with her legs, and just, great. It was like very back and forth the entire match. The crowd was super hot. They were chanting for Starlight Kid, which, like, awesome to see. And the finish saw just Thekla really driving it home. And, like, I think also protecting Starlight Kid by just hitting 2 curb stomps just back to back. She hit one and then, like, dove to the ground, grabbed her head and said, like, it's not over. And then hit another one, all while the president of Stardom is watching at ringside, just very sad. And then afterwards, the Sisters of Sin, Sky Blue and Julia Hart, come out. They give Thekla some scissors. Thekla cuts the mask off of Starlight Kid and demasks her, and then spits in the mask, and then uses that mask to then beat up the president of Stardom. I love Thekla. She's the best, and I'm so happy that she won this match with 0 interference. I think that's something you need to do, especially for your heel champions, to like make them legitimate. You can't have them constantly needing to cheat or constantly needing help from other people. If you have at least 1 or 2 like good, like hard-earned victories where they just prove they're that good, I think it really solidifies their title reign as like a good one. But yeah, I'm jazzed on Thekla. Next on the card, we had Cope and Cage versus the Dogs. I honestly think they've been having a pretty fun feud. I didn't need Cope and Cage to have that promo that one week, but like in terms of them just fighting and the concept of like, oh, you're stealing our gimmick and you're us from the past and we're the old vets who are here to teach you a lesson and blah, blah, blah. I don't mind all that. I think the match pretty much played out that way, that like the Dogs came out and did the 5-second pose with flash photography. They didn't have like the big cameras like when Melina or what are they called? Eminem, yeah, Joey Mercury and Johnny Nitro. like the big cameras with the big flashes. Like they had like little disposable cameras, and it honestly just kind of looked pathetic. I feel bad, but like, and maybe that was the point, is that like these guys are supposed to look pathetic because they were selling their asses off during the whole match. It was like, you know, definitely a match designed to like slow the crowd down, like calm them down a bit, so that, because we're gonna get 3 crazy matches next, so you got to be good and ready. It was a lot of the dogs getting heat on Christian, not in like a just boring way, but in like a fun way. Like there were a couple like, you know, hope spots, and you know, Christian Cage fought back a couple of times. It wasn't just him constantly getting worked over, but it was a lot of it, to be fair. And a really fun spot that I liked was Clark Connors and Edge. Like Edge got the hot tag, and the match kind of broke down from there. They started going crazy. At one point, Clark Connors and Edge like locked eyes, and Clark Connors was like, "Yeah, I'm ready for this, boy." And they do a spear, and they just clonk heads together and just bounce off each other, and I popped huge. And the finish ultimately was David Finlay, like, Clark Connors pushes Christian Cage on the ref, so he gets taken out. David Finlay takes out both guys with the shillelagh. He takes out Christian Cage with the shillelagh. He's gonna take out Edge with the shillelagh. And then the lights go out. Oh, fuck. And the lights come out to reveal the Bang Bang Gang. But what are they doing here? The lights come all the way back on, and it's Jay White in the ring with the sword sound effect. And he hits Blade Runner on David Finlay. I'm getting there. A lot of people, a lot of names. And then Edge hits the spear for the win, and David Finlay just, you know, doubles over, selling the shit out of it. Jay White is super friendly with Edge afterwards, and then kind of walks up on Christian. Is like, I remember what you fucking did, you bitch. Bitch. And then he leaves and goes and hangs out with the boys. And it was honestly like really, like he seemed genuinely so happy to be back with the Bang Bang Gang. So I'm excited to see. I assume they're gonna have a segment on Dynamite. Maybe it'll be the Bang Bang Gang versus Cope and Cage for the tag titles. You know what? This is a sign of a healthy tag division, that I've come up with 3 different tag teams to fight Cope and Cage, and I think all of them would be a fun time. I definitely think the Bang Bang Gang would be the least interesting, but maybe if it was like Juice Robinson and Jay White fighting for the tag titles. I remember their like almost hour-long match against FTR. That shit was fantastic. And I think seeing them like challenge for those tag titles, I think would be awesome. And maybe you could sow some seeds of dissension between the Guns and the Juice Sword. Yeah, that's a name. Next, we had the first of the triple main event. And honestly, my personal match of the night. I thought this match was fucking fantastic. I think Mercedes might be legit one of the best sellers in the business, because she doesn't just sell like the moves and the physicality. She sells the emotion and like her like character and expression like so much through the match. Like, you know exactly what she's feeling at all times, and she really puts over the opponent as like, you know, like, oh, this was supposed to be a walk in the park and I am struggling. Like, there were so many moments like where she has like her finish, the bank statement in, and she is like petrified on her face that Maya World is gonna find some way out of it. And obviously I think Maya World showed up in spades. She was fantastic in this match. Like, the best babyface underdog performance you could ask of her. It was so great. Again, going into it, very predictable that you're like, well, you see Mercedes Moné and you see Maya World on paper and you're like, well, obviously Mercedes Moné is going to win. But those two went out of their way so far to make Maya World seem like she could win this and go on to face Thekla. It wouldn't make any sense from a business standpoint, but goddamn it, I was sitting there like, she can fucking do it. And like towards the end when she's in the bank statement and she's just crawling towards the ropes and the crowd is coming unglued for her, I like legit goosebumps on my body. I'm like, those moments are so special and you don't get them super often. So I really, really hope that Tony Khan doesn't squander this opportunity to do something with Maya World. I don't think he's going to, because, you know, Mercedes Moné won, and after the match, Athena cut a promo basically saying like, Maya World sucks, and clearly setting up an Athena versus Maya World title match for that Ring of Honor title, because she did beat her in the tournament, so it only makes sense that you set that up. And at this point, man, I'm like, I know you've really, really set up that Billie Starkz is going to be the one to take the title off Athena, but you have had that opportunity like 2 or 3 times at this point, and I think the moment is past, man. Maya World's moment is right now, and I don't blame you for not pulling the trigger on her right now, but you need to pull the trigger on her in a different way. And beating Athena, the forever champion for that Ring of Honor title, not to mention Maya World just kind of makes more sense as a Ring of Honor World Champion. You can finally push Athena to the main roster. I think you gotta take the title off her, man. I think you gotta put the title on Maya World, and like really, and not like keep her in Ring of Honor either. Like, have her win this title, have her get some like good singles experience, maybe break up her and Hyeon and have them feud over it, because, you know, they're a fun enough tag team, but they don't even have a name yet, and it just, I don't know that people really care about them as a tag team, so maybe separating them and having them both like be singles, you know, people, and then trying to prove themselves as singles competitors and even as championship, you know, worthy contenders on real AEW. I think you can do something good with her, but you gotta fucking commit to it. You can't just put her on Ring of Honor and then be like, people will watch her, it'll be fine. You gotta make her be must see. You gotta give her an opportunity to get the spotlight, even in like a smaller stage. Like, you gotta build her up, man. But yeah, Mercedes won. She's gonna face Thekla, or whoever Thekla might lose the title to, because I don't know if they want to do heel versus heel. And if it's not Thekla, I mean, Tony is the only one that really makes sense, but I don't know when she's coming back. So I think you'll probably just do Thekla, and then Mercedes will be like, you know, playing more face leading into it. Or maybe it'll just be 2 women who just are just mean and bitter and just beat the shit out of each other. Because I can easily see Thekla just calling Mercedes a dumb bitch like over and over, and Mercedes losing it because of it. I do think it would be a really fun feud. So maybe it would just be good to just have them face off against each other. Next up, we had, oh god, let's see if I can name all of them. We had Team Mark Briscoe, which is Briscoe, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Konosuke Takeshita, versus Team MJF, which had Max, Kyle Fletcher, Kevin Knight, Kazuchika Okada, Jake Doyle, and Andrade El Idolo. Similar to the first match, it was just a lot of crazy shit happening, so it's hard for me to actually remember like what happened. I'm just like, it was crazy from start to finish. It was just a lot of chaos. The big spots I remember was like Darby Allin getting dumped face first on some thumbtacks. All of the conglomeration came out with backpacks, and in each of the backpacks had like various items and, whatnot. Darby Allin hid his backpack at the top of the cage. Mark Briscoe had thumbtacks in his. Kyle O'Reilly had an NES in his. Just a lot of dumb, fun stuff. At one point, Kevin Knight got chased up the cage by Darby Allin, and Kevin Knight thought he was smart, so he found his way towards the backpack that Darby Allin hid up there. He picks it up, it explodes. Kevin Knight falls off, lands through a couple tables, and then Darby Allin's like, alright, fuck it. And then Darby Allin says, fuck it, jumps off the cage. The finish saw Max, Andrade, and Doyle with Briscoe in the ring. They've got the upper hand. Doyle's holding up Briscoe. MJF's gonna hit him with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. He sees Andrade. He's like, no, you hold him up. Andrade's like, I don't want to do it. MJF's like, I don't give a fuck. God damn it. You fucking do it, motherfucker. He said all that verbatim. He said, you Mexican fuck. He said that. I was like, oh my God. He said that. And then Andrade was like, all right, you got me there. So he decides to hold up Briscoe. MJF charges at him. Andrade charges at MJF, hits him, and then rips off his shirt to reveal he's wearing a Fuck MJF, Fuck Don Callis t-shirt, which I'm expecting to see on AEW shop soon, and if they don't, I'm suing. He pointed at he took out Doyle, pointed at MJF for Briscoe, he helped fucking whatever. Briscoe hit Doyle with the J Driller. They won the match. Yay, Briscoe wins. And so he's going to challenge MJF for the world title on Dynamite this Wednesday. I think in the first... I think they're starting the show with the match. So you already knew MJF was going to win. But if that doesn't telegraph that he's retaining anymore, then I don't know what is. And the final match, the final main event of the evening, the true main event, Swerve Strickland versus Will Ospreay in the finals of the Owen Hart Cup tournament. This match, from an in-ring standpoint and a storytelling standpoint, it's better than the... I don't even know that it is, man. They definitely did more, and it was more of a big epic than the women's match was, but I just personally really liked. I don't think there was any doubt in my mind that Ospreay was gonna win. Even through all the near falls, I was like, oh, that's a good near fall. Ospreay's kicking out. There were moments during the Mercedes match where I thought Maya World could win, and that's the reason why in my head I put that over this match. I'm sure that's not, I don't know, man. Whatever, that's my fucking opinion, bro. Hey. Anyway, the two of them had a spectacular match, though, regardless. So many, callbacks to their previous match, and I'm sure even more previous matches, Ospreay hitting the hidden blade and Swerve just eating it. That was a callback. And I don't know. It was just a lot of really great spots and a lot of moments where the two of them would kind of hold their heads together and be like, it's my time. I love you, bro, but it's my time. You've changed. It's my time. Ultimately, they did this. They kind of copied the Ospreay Danielson finish where Ospreay... they're staring off from each other, and Ospreay's firing up, and Swerve's like, all right, here we go. And then Ospreay hits the hidden blade. He hits the Stormbreaker. Swerve kicks out, and so Ospreay's like, fuck it, I know what works. He hits the Paradigm Shift. He hits the Death Rider, and then he hits the Tiger Driver for the win. Truly pulling out not only Moxley's moves, the move that put him on the shelf, with the 5 fucking paradigm shifts in a row. But also the Tiger Driver, that is this, move that has been built up as this injury, menace. So, showcasing that Ospreay's willing to go to these insane depths if it means, he fulfills his dream of going to Wembley. And, again, fantastic match. You had the Death Riders come out afterwards and celebrate with him. It was a great moment. Also, his wife came out. It was great. A wonderful night of professional wrestling, especially for AEW. The other companies too, but especially for AEW. A lot of interesting pieces set up. I think we're clearly getting MJF versus Kenny Omega at Redemption. I think Copen Cage has quite a few challengers for Redemption. It's in Canada, so I assume they're going to be wrestling on the card. And, as predictable as it was, I thought it was still just a really, fun show. And, a show that I thought had a really, good pace. The matches that were slower, I think, needed to be slower. And the matches that were, really fast-paced and fun, I thought, I wasn't sitting there getting burnt out. I wasn't sitting there going, God damn, let's move this along. Every match felt like it should have been as long as it was. And none of them really felt, out of place. I think it's kind of common with AEW that I would look at one and be you didn't need this match. If I had to pick one, I'm sorry, it probably would have been Shota versus Pac just because there was no real setup to it. But still, I think it was a good setup match for the women's match to really knock it out of the park. So if, that match had to die on the sword, it did what it did. And it's not like it was a bad match, and it's not like the crowd utterly died. It's clear they just didn't care that much about it as compared to the others, and I don't blame them. But yeah, Dynamite is this Wednesday. I'm going to be putting out a review for that, so watch it, subscribe, do all the shit. Butternut squash match.